Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Haar Disciples Baseball. My name is Tim Collins. I'm very thrilled to be back with you today. Sunday, June the 30th, just prior to 1 p.m., the Heidenheim Heideköpfe and the Disciples München Haar. This is the third game of the weekend between these two teams. These two teams had not yet played each other due to torrential downpours and flooding over the past few months. They had tried twice. Everything had been canceled. And so now they've had to stuff 3 games into one weekend. And actually, due to that reason, we are playing a 7-inning game today, I've been informed. Usually, when there's only 1 game per day, it's going to be a 9-inning affair. However, this game was supposed to be part of a doubleheader. And because of the fact that these two teams played a doubleheader yesterday, it's going to be a 7-inning game today. There you see the handshakes between head coach Klaus Eckle and Charles Poe of the Heideköpfe and Disciples, respectively. And they have departed and returned to the dugout. And now you see the 3-man umpire crew waiting at home plate. This game is going to start. I know Eckle and Poe both were eager to get this thing started early because there is a forecast of rain. And in fact, about 15 minutes ago, it poured for 5 minutes, but not enough to cause any sort of delay. This game is going to begin, theoretically, exactly on time. Home plate umpire Vlado Čupić is in position waiting off to the right on the first base side. Third base umpire Ilyar Jean. First base umpire Georg Veit, the 3-man crew for today. And good crowd filing into the ballpark here, Disciples Ballpark. Yesterday, it was a split between the two teams. Heidenheim winning the first game by an eyelash, 3-2. And the Disciples returning the favor 1-0 in the second game. Really close ball games. In fact, that first game, the Disciples had bases loaded and 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. And then a failed suicide squeeze attempt put the damper on that rally. And that was an event from which they would not recover as Heidenheim hung on to win the first game. And then in the second game, an unearned run in the 3rd inning, and Ryan Bollinger made it stand up. He pitched a phenomenal game, his best game of the year. He has lowered his ERA to below 3. And this game is about ready to begin. As the Disciples have taken the field, they will do so behind Juan Salazar, the young right-hander. He will be working with catcher Felix Stroll. The third baseman is Callum Murphy. Shortstop Zaino Henriquez. Second base today is Fildrik Llewellyn. And playing first base, Simon Lechner. The outfield from left to right is Anderson Zambrano. Breland Almadova, the new addition, who made his debut yesterday. He's playing center field, and Luke Steinlein is in right field. The lineup that Salazar is going to face begins with Gary Owens, Alte Bekannte here in Deutschland. He's the center fielder for the Heideköpfe leading off. Simon Göring playing first base, bats second. Sean Larry in right field, bats third. William Germain, the catcher, is batting cleanup. Nate Sean Thomas, the ex-disciple, playing second base, batting fifth. Drew Janssen, the designated hitter and the pitcher, as the Heideköpfe making use of the Otani rule today. He's DHing and pitching and batting sixth. Simon Liedke is the shortstop. He will bat seventh. Timo Plitz is playing third base and getting the start. He's batting eighth. And another former disciple is David Dinsky in left field. He's batting ninth. Former Legionnaire, former disciple. And Juan Salazar is taking his warm-up pitches. His statistics on the year, an ERA of upwards of 8. But he's had some very, very good starts mixed in there. A young pitcher, you know, and sometimes there are those growing pains associated with that. But he has a good arm. He's got good stuff. And if he gets ahead in the count and can locate all of his pitches, he can be effective. In 60, well, let's see, how many innings? Forgot to write down how many innings he has pitched, but he's given up 61 hits. He has thrown 42 2/3 innings. And in those innings, 61 hits, 39 earned runs, 19 walks, 31 strikeouts. So he gives up a lot of hits. It's just a matter of whether he can pitch out of jams. And right away, Gary Owens up to the plate. Right-hand hitter, lots of power. The first pitch of the game is right down the pipe for a strike at 1:02 p.m. And we are underway. Owens, 22 hits and 83 at-bats. That's only 265. That is very unusual for him. There's a swing and a drive to deep right center field. Long run for Steinlein. It's over his head. One hops up against the wall, and Owens is going to cruise to second base with a double. And the sirens are already going here in Haar. Owens got a pitch, looked like it was down and away, and he goes to the opposite field with the best of them in the Bundesliga. Drove that ball with authority and one-hopped it to the wall. And so a leadoff double for Simon Göring, for Gary Owens, and now Göring at the plate. As the Heideköpfe, who only scored 3 runs in yesterday's action in both games. The Disciples also only scored 3, but the first one was 3-2. Second one was 1-0. Simon Göring at the plate with Owens off second base, and he fouls away the first offering from Salazar, strike 1. Göring, uncharacteristic batting average, as he is in the twilight of his Bundesliga career, but one of the best ever in the league. Hitting at just .222, 12 for 54. But still very tough out. He's only struck out 5 times. He squares to bunt and bunts through a breaking ball. That's strike 2. He's always been an excellent contact hitter. Smart base runner. Was the captain of the national team for some years. Just universally respected in the game of baseball in Germany, Simon Göring. 0-2 the count to him. Salazar works from the first base side of the rubber. And he looks Owens back. Göring, one of the toughest strikeouts to get in the league, but a strikeout here would be big for Salazar. And the 0-2 in the dirt. Good block by Stroll, preventing any advance from Owens. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's something that Salazar has to have confidence in his catcher to throw that pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. And again, the inside move. That was kind of a funny looking one. He removed the ball from his glove and lifted the leg at the same time. If he had fallen down towards the plate, that would have been a balk. Göring asks for time. Still ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Simon Göring. Nobody out. Popped up foul and out of play off to the right. We'll do it again. Infield is straight away for Göring. The outfield is shading him to hit to the opposite field as Almodovar in center is a few steps to the right. And a ground ball pulled to third on a nice hop from Murphy. He checks the runner back and throws to first in time to get Göring. 5-3 on the putout, and there's 1 away. So a good job of retiring Göring by Salazar to get the out without Owens advancing to third base. And now Sean Larry, noted disciple killer, 16 for 46. That's a .348 batting average. And the main thing that is really, really strange to see from the side of the Heideköpfe, I mean, they're having a good year. They're in second place, but they are not the offensive juggernaut they used to be. Sean Larry is one of only 2 hitters in the lineup with a batting average over 300, hitting .348. However, even some of the lower batting average guys, I mean, this team hits a lot of home runs. Larry has 7 of them. There's the pitch. Just missed low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Larry's got 7 home runs. Jermaine has 7 home runs. Janssen has 5. A lot of dingers coming from the Heideköpfe. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Sean Larry, left-hand hitter with a slightly open stance. And strike 2 on the outside corner. Good fastball. Larry looked like he was looking for something off speed and let that one go by. 1 out. Owens on second base. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Sean Larry. And he tried an off speed, and Larry let it go by. Larry, by the way, besides his 7 home runs, he also has a double and 18 walks. He has only struck out 9 times on this season. This is a season in which all the teams are playing a few more games. They're, instead of the usual one series at home, one series away. Each team is playing 3 as Larry strikes out. Foul tipped into the mid of Stroll. Looked like a fastball tailing away from him. And that's the second out. Good pitch from Juan Salazar. And that will bring up William Germain. Germain, 25 for 74. That's .338. He's the other hitter with an average above 300 in the lineup today for Klaus Echle. I mentioned the 7 home runs. He's also got 5 doubles and a triple. He's also spent a lot of years in the Bundesliga. First played, I believe, with Ulm and then with Stuttgart. The pitch is inside. Last few years, he's been a stalwart in the Heideköpfe lineup. Owens on second base with 2 down. He was there with nobody out. And a big swing and a miss. Germain way out in front. That's a good pitch from Salazar. The Disciples yesterday got good pitching from Daniel Wolf in a losing effort. And a complete 7-inning game shutout from Ryan Bollinger. Juan Salazar trying to mimic those guys, and another look at Owens on second base, who saunters back easily. 1-1 to William Germain. Very powerful right-hand hitter. Down in a crouch, the pitch. Try to curveball inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. There's a bit of a hole on the left side as Murphy is deep at third and Henriquez, the shortstop, is maybe 1 or 2 steps towards the second base bag. Trying to hold Owens close. Murphy on the right side, Llewellyn on the right side, also shaded up the middle. And this one is high. 3 balls and a strike. Nate Sean Thomas, the former Haar disciple, is on deck, switch hitter. 3-1. And a strike on the inside corner, full count. Good fastball from Juan Salazar. It'll be a payoff pitch to William Germain. Here it comes. And a base hit into left field. Owens is being waved around. Zambrano comes up throwing. And it's going to be cut. And the throw is offline. And Owens scores. And the Heideköpfe lead 1-0 on an RBI single off the bat of William Germain. Wasn't hit all that hard. I think maybe he was jammed. And Zambrano's throw was offline and then cut by Murphy, the third baseman, who relayed it to the plate and had to sort of throw it around Owens, who was already close to the plate, and Owens scored easily. So a base hit and a run batted in, and that'll bring up Nate Thomas. And there you have the view from center field, slightly obstructed. Nate Thomas, a switch hitter. That pitch was a ball. Thomas, 8 hits and 36 at-bats, but when he does get on, he's been successful running. 6 out of 6 stolen bases. Of course, the Disciples know him well. He played 5 years for the Disciples, maybe more. I can't remember what year it was he started. One ball and 1 strike with Germain on second base, who took second, by the way, on the throw. That pitch is outside. 2-1. Well, Salazar nearly pitched out of it. The leadoff double to Gary Owens, and then 2 outs later, Owens was still there, but the 2-out base hit by one of the league's best hitters. Germain, there's a soft fly ball down the left field line. Zambrano covers a lot of ground and gets there to make the catch in fair territory to end the inning. But a run on 2 hits. No errors and 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of the first inning. It's Heidenheim 1. The Haar Disciples come to the bat. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu.
Unsere Studios sind mehr als nur ein Ort für Fitness und Muskelaufbau. Es sind Treffpunkte einer starken Community. Hier steckst du dir deine Ziele selbst und entscheidest, warum du noch gesünder, noch fitter oder einfach noch besser werden willst. Sei stärker als deine stärkste Ausrede. Trainiere bei Clever Fit.
So we go to the bottom of the first inning here in Disciples Ballpark. Heidenheim scoring a run on 2 hits. The double by Gary Owens and the single off the bat of William Germain have given Drew Janssen a 1-0 lead. And Janssen, the Belgian right-hander, and he's the DH and the pitcher today. He has pitched very well this year. He has demonstrated why the Heideköpfe have a very deep pitching staff. In only 22 2/3 innings pitched, he has an ERA of 1.59, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 13 walks, 35 strikeouts. And he will be backed up defensively on the infield by Timo Plitz at third. Simon Liedke is at short. Nate Thomas is at second. Simon Göring is at first base. The outfield from left to right is David Dinsky, Gary Owens, Sean Larry, and behind the plate doing the catching is the RBI man, William Germain. And the Disciples lineup will begin with Luke Steinlein, Callum Murphy, Patrick Music, the DH, 1, 2, 3. And then Fildrick Llewellyn, Breland Almadova, Simon Lechner, 4, 5, 6. Anderson Zambrano, Felix Stroll, and Zaino Henriquez, 7, 8, 9. So Steinlein stepped up there, hitting 325. And the right-hander Jensen's first pitch is outside for a ball. We are underway in the bottom of the first. Steinlein, 25 hits and 77 at-bats. He's got 5 doubles and a triple, and he takes a strike over the outside corner. 13 walks, 13 strikeouts. He's been one of the Disciples' most consistent hitters. And Jansen's next one is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. And Janssen wants to remove the sleeve from his right arm. So he's going to take that off. It's about 22 degrees Celsius out here. It's not as humid as it was yesterday. Yesterday was much hotter, and the sun was blazing. And it was a really hot, sticky day here at the ballpark. Today's still a little bit humid, but not as hot as yesterday. There's a good bunt attempt, but it rolls foul off the bat of Steinlein. That would have been a base hit had it stayed fair. Not a bad idea. Leading off the game, Luke Steinlein. Count now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Steinlein, if he gets on base, he's 5 out of 6 in the stolen base department. The Disciples have had to rely on timely hits and good defense. They've gotten good pitching. You know, in their last 6 games, they're 2 and 4. But when you look at the quality of games they've played, it's been good. There's a swing and a pop foul out of play. The count's still 2 and 2. Going back 2 weekends ago against Regensburg, they lost both games, but 2-0 and 3-2 does not exactly scream of being overmatched, if you ask me. And we saw yesterday 2 one-run games against the Heideköpfe. Of course, last weekend they split in Hunstetten, and we've seen Hunstetten. They've been a very admirable spoiler this year. Curveball is too high. The count is full, 3-2. So Hunstetten, even though they are in last place at 4-20, I believe they beat Heidenheim 1 game. And they've played tough against Regensburg, so this is a league really where everybody can beat everybody. And Steinlein beats Janssen on that first one, drawing a walk. So he's at first base. I mentioned the 5 out of 6 stolen bases. Let's see if he tries to do any running. Jermaine behind the plate is an experienced catcher who throws well. So Callum Murphy now batting second. He is 16 for 64. That's exactly 250. He does have 5 doubles. And the pitch, that's outside. Janssen in his 22 2/3 innings pitched. That's the one number that kind of jumps out, 13 walks. That is a number that's higher than he would like to see. And he checks on Steinlein half-heartedly. Steinlein being held on by Goering. Murphy with a 1-0 count. Runner not going, the pitch. There's a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Janssen has a quick delivery to the plate, so I imagine he's not the easiest to run on. He does not lift his leg very high, has a low stretch position, and then just releases the ball. And now he lifts it up, and there's a foul to the backstop, 1-2. So he used a slide step on the previous delivery. 1-2 to Callum Murphy, but even then, when he did lift the leg, he's got a pretty quick time to the plate. And Steinlein, who had a very short lead, did not look like he was going to try to take off anywhere. Now he's going, the pitch is outside, the throw to second base is not in time. And it goes to center field. Steinlein on his way to third, the throw from Owens, not in time. He's there, stolen base, and that'll be an error on somebody. Might be an error on the shortstop. The throw was to the right of the second base bag, and the question is, was it catchable? We shall see, but it's definitely a stolen base and an error. And the count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes on Callum Murphy, and the Disciples have the tying run in scoring position with nobody out here. So it's going to be an error on the catcher. Infield is in, and Murphy lines a base hit, and this game is tied. So the Disciples answer right back and give Murphy a single and an RBI. The Disciples tie the game, and we're right back where we started a few minutes ago. Breaking ball, and Murphy waited on it, hit it off the end of the bat through the drawn-in infield. And so now Patrick Music steps up to the plate with Murphy on first base. Murphy is 3 out of 3 in stolen bases. Well, the Disciples, they won the game yesterday in the second game thanks to a hit-and-run single perfectly executed by this gentleman. And Murphy was leaning, nearly got caught, but does get back on the pickoff attempt. So Klaus Eckler thinking right along with us. Janssen from the stretch checks again on Murphy, who again flinched in the direction of second base. But his lead is so short he can get back easily. Not going, and the bunt is shown. The pitch is on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1 to Music. The DH today, Music 26 for 70. That's 371. He has 4 doubles, 3 triples, 8 stolen bases, 17 walks. He's only struck out 5 times. And the 0-1. Ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit in center field. Murphy will stop at second base. A single for Patrick Music, and the Disciples have the first 3 base runners on here. A walk and 2 singles against the right-hander Janssen, and now Fildrik Llewellyn is going to swing it from the left side against Janssen. Nobody out. Give a shout out to folks in the chat. Mad Max, moin moin. And Music 64, I imagine, yeah. Nice to meet you. Glad you are enjoying the broadcast. Patrick Music making you happy. Llewellyn looking at a strike. And Toby, of course, sehr spannend dieses Jahr. I mentioned already before that it's, you know, every couple of years there's a new format in the Bundesliga. Well, this year the experiment is, instead of 2 series versus each team, 3 series. So each team plays each other 6 times. Again, Llewellyn bunts. He pops it up, but it's going to land. And they throw to third, and safe. Everybody's safe. As Ilyar Jean saying that the third baseman Blitz pulled his foot off the bag, so that's going to be probably a fielder's choice. And the Disciples have the bases loaded, nobody out. Llewellyn was trying to sacrifice, and it wasn't a great bunt, but it landed before anybody could catch it. And Janssen picked it up and casually threw to third, but Jean ruled that the third baseman Plitz was off the bag. So the bases are loaded. And now Breland Almadova, the former Savannah Banana from the University of Hawaii, with the bases loaded and nobody out. Swing and a miss. Almadova made his Disciples debut yesterday, was 0 for 3, but he did steal 2 bases and drew a walk. 23 years of age, and the pitch is down and away. One and one on Almadova with the bases loaded, nobody out. And he shoots that one foul after the right 1-2. Almadova is a big guy, tall right-handed hitter. He's also played in the Czech Republic. He was originally drafted in 2012 by the Arizona Diamondbacks and spent the last 2 years playing with some team that nobody's ever heard of called the Savannah Bananas. Breaking ball missed inside. And the count even 2-2. But yeah, to get back to the point, 6 games versus every team. And of course the Disciples and Heideköpfe, they kept trying to play each other, and then Mother Nature kept disagreeing. So they were playing catch up. The 2-2 off the glove, caught in the air, and that could be a triple play. No, the throw coming in, got away, and Murphy is tagged out, but my goodness, the Disciples got a break. So it's a double play. The ball was off of the glove of, well, let's recap that. It was a liner that hit the glove of Janssen. Nate Thomas caught it, so that's 1-4 for the first out. Thomas then, without realizing he could have gotten probably a triple play, was trying to throw it to Goering, who was trying to cover second base, but then the ball got away, and then Goering recovered and threw to the catcher to get the runner, Murphy, at home. So I don't know how you score that, Phil Spass. It's a double play. There's 2 outs. Pitch. So the batter is out because the ball was caught. No, that's Llewellyn first. There are 2 down. So Almadova lines out 1-4. He's out. And then Murphy was thrown out 3-2 coming to the plate on the play. That's basically how that happened. Bunch of other stuff in between. The ball touched the pitcher, second baseman, the first baseman, and the catcher. The ball was lined off of the pitcher's glove and then caught out in the air from Thomas. Oh, man. I'm going to have to go back and look at that one just to practice play-by-play. So there are 2 down. Boy, well, first of all, there's a line drive right center field. Base hit off the bat of Lechner. Around third, coming to score is Music. The throw comes in, and the Disciples lead 1-0. And now Lechner takes second base on the throw home by Thomas. Excellent base running by Simon Lechner, who had a huge turn at first base. Goering was way off the bag and couldn't get back to hold him there. And so when Thomas threw the ball home, Lechner took second. The Disciples lead 2-1. As Music comes in to score. That's an RBI single off the bat of Simon Lechner, who then takes second base on the throw. Llewellyn is at third base. And that's going to bring Jared Mortensen out to the mound to talk with Drew Janssen. Just to go back to that previous play, let's see. I still have it on the replay here. This is the play with the bases loaded and 1 out. Line drive off of Janssen's glove. It was caught on the fly by Thomas, so Almadova is out. Then Thomas threw the ball away, and as he did that, the runner from third tried to come home and score and did not. Meanwhile, A bit of a long meeting on the mound here. Not sure exactly what we are waiting for. Where is now the home plate umpire, Vlado Chupic, is out there to break things up. Anyway, it is 2-1 Disciples. Runners on second and third. Anderson Zambrano. It was Zambrano who was at the plate yesterday in the 6th inning with the bases loaded, and the Disciples elected to try a suicide squeeze, a bases-loaded suicide squeeze. You don't see that every day. And Bolsenbrook threw a pitch 2 feet outside, and Zambrano couldn't get it down, and that kind of killed the Disciples' chances. First pitch is a breaking ball strike to Zambrano, 0-1. Zambrano hitting at .278, 15 hits and 54 at-bats. And another good curve. Strike 2. Well, that line drive, the Disciples are lucky it wasn't a triple play, to be quite honest. Anderson chops one slowly right side. That's going to be a tough play. Hustling down the line and out at first place. A good job by Drew Janssen to get over and cover the bag so that Göring could feed him. The play goes 3-1, and Zambrano grounds out for the third out. But the Disciples get 2 runs on 1, 2, 3 hits. There was an error, and there were 2 left on base. We go to the 2nd inning. Remember, it's a 7-inning game today. The Disciples leading 2-1. Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We go to the top of the 2nd inning. Disciples leading 2-1. And Juan Salazar will go to work against 6, 7, and 8 in the order for the Heideköpfe. Drew Janssen, Simon Liedke, and Timo Plitz. Strange inning in the bottom half of the 1st inning, but the Disciples coming through with 2 runs on 3 hits to give Salazar an instant redemption. There's a swing and a hot shot past the dive of Murphy down the left field line. Base hit for Janssen. He's rounding first base, and he will hold on. A good job by Anderson Zambrano to get over there and cut that thing off before it went any further. Janssen with a leadoff single. And that's how the 2nd inning begins for the Heideköpfe. Take another look at this first pitch. And there's a ground ball slowly hit, and it's off the glove of Murphy, and it kicks into short left field, heading to third base. The throw, he's out at third, heading to second, and out at second base. Oh, what a double play. First, it turned into a possible error off the glove of Murphy. The ball rolled into shallow left field, and both runners tried to advance further than they should have. That's the basic story of that one. Janssen is thrown out 6-5 at third, and then Liedke is thrown out 5-4 at second base. It's a weird double play. That might be scored an E5 and then a double play. I really don't know. At any rate, there are 2 down, and I forgot to hit the button on the camera, so you didn't see any of it. Let's see here. I'm going to let the replay run while Ryan Bollinger is out to the mound to have a chat with Juan Salazar. Salazar getting very, very amped up, and Bollinger saying, hey, let's watch this again. It was a hot shot ground ball. That's the base hit down the line. That's the base hit off the bat of Janssen. I'm going to cue that up later so I can show it to you guys in a bit. Here's the ground ball. This is the ground ball, and you're not going to see anything. My apologies. But both runners were thrown out on the bases. So 2 down on 2 pitches, by the way, in the inning. So, yeah. Who says baseball is a slow-moving game? Timo Plitz took a pitch high for ball 1. And he swings through this one, 1-1. Casey, yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It was, I'll try to do my best. There's a swing and a miss, strike 2. The ground ball went off the glove. Oh, that's strike 3. See, I even missed the first pitch being called a strike because Vlado Čupić is so relaxed. So it turns into a 5-pitch inning. A 5-pitch inning with a single. And then the ground ball off the bat of Liedtke, which could be scored an error because he did reach first base on the play. And it went off the glove of Murphy. He then had to chase it down in short left field. While he was doing that, both runners tried to advance. He turned and whirled and threw to third to get the first runner. And then the trail runner was trying to get to second base, Liedtke, and he was thrown out. So we're going to clear all that up, and I'll give you the full report when we're back. Bottom of the second inning coming up, 2-1 Haar. So we go to the bottom of the second inning. A wild 1.5 innings have already been played here in Haar, and Felix Stroll steps up and takes a first pitch strike from Drew Janssen. This is a good one so far. Just discussing things in between innings with the official scorer and the e-scorer. 0-2 on Felix Stroll. Stroll in limited playing time this year, 3 out of 29. He's the young up-and-coming catcher. Curveball is inside. It'll be 8-9-1. Stroll, Zaino Henriquez, and then Luke Steinlein for the Disciples. They lead this game 2-1, but there's a breaking ball. Strike 3 called in the outside corner. Stroll was fooled anyway. Good pitch from Drew Janssen. That's the first strikeout for him. And take another look at this from the angle in center field. Good breaking ball. Nice frame job by Germain. And Zaino Henriquez, 11 out of 55. Switch hitter batting from the left side. By the way, I misspoke when I said it was going to be 6-5. It was Murphy. Murphy's the third baseman. And he's the one who chased down that ground ball and then turned and made the throw. So that play went 5-6. That was to get Janssen at third. And then 6-4 on the ground out. There's a ground ball off the foot of Henriquez. It's a foul ball. So the count 0-2 on Zaino. So Liedke got a base hit, by the way. He was awarded a base hit for that ground ball to the left side, and then it's thrown out 6-4 for the second out. That's what that was last inning. And now all the housekeeping is taken care of, I think. Zaino Henriquez with an 0-2 count against Drew Janssen, the right-hander. Shuffles his glove, takes a few steps, holds his leg Nestor Cortez style, and the breaking ball is high and outside. 1-2. And the next. Outside again. He's been throwing a lot of breaking balls this inning. He got the strikeout of Stroll. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Henriquez. And the next one coming. Off the end of the bat to shallow left, a long run for Liedke. He's out to the outfield grass and pulls it down. And there are 2 away. And now the top of the order, Lucas Steinlein. Steinlein walked, stole a base, reached third on an error, and scored on the base hit off the bat of Callum Murphy. That error, by the way, did not really figure into the scoring, so the runs are all earned for the Disciples. That was not the case yesterday. They scored 1 unearned run, as that pitch is a strike. 1 unearned run in the second game, and that was it, 1-0. Brian Bollinger made it stand up. And the 0-1, good curveball. That's the hardest and sharpest curveball Janssen has thrown yet in this game. Sometimes it takes pitchers a few innings before they really find it. That's the 36th pitch of the game for Drew. And now he comes back 0-2 and missed outside with a fastball. He's trying to increase the tempo a bit. Gets right back on the rubber, gets the sign, and deals. Curves inside. Two balls, 2 strikes on Steinlein. And got him swinging with a curveball. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Janssen. 1, 2, 3 go the Disciples. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left. We are going to the third here in Haar. 2-1 Disciples. Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brouwerij Wildbräu. We go to the top of the third inning here in Haar. 2-1, the Disciples leading the Heideköpfe. And David Dinsky, 9-1-2. Dinsky, Owens, and Simon Göring against Juan Salazar. The pitch inside to Dinsky. No stranger to these parts here in Haar. Dinsky played several seasons for the Disciples. 14 hits in 61 at bats. That pitch missed inside for ball 2. That's a 230 average. But Dinsky has 2 home runs, 2 doubles. And it's 3-0. Dinsky does not walk very much. He only has 6 all year. But a 3-0 pitch coming. And he yanks that one foul into the Disciples dugout. 3-1. As Klaus Ekla letting Dinsky swing away. 3-0. Why not? Fastball right down the pipe, and he put a good swing on it. Now the count 3-1. And he reaches for one and lines a base hit to right field. Would have been ball 4 anyway. But I mentioned Dinsky does not like to walk, and he did not do it there. He had a base hit. Leadoff single for David. And now the top of the order, Gary Owens, will come up to the plate. Owens smacked the second pitch of the game. You see Dinsky, that ball might have hit the dirt had he not swung at it. Looking at the replay on the center field camera. It was about a foot outside and about to go underground. And he scooped it up and served it into right. Gary Owens led off the game with a double and scored, and he takes one right through the chute for a strike. 0-1. I give a shout out to Kelsey, former Baldham Boar player. Thanks for tuning in. We know the Baldham Boars. There's a check on Dinsky. Dinsky also likes to run. He has only 4 out of 7 in stolen base departments, however. He does get caught sometimes. And the runner is going. The pitch is popped up in foul territory off to the right. Lechner with a long run. He will not get there. It's over the other side of the net. 0-2 the count to Owens as Dinsky was off with the pitch. Salazar has thrown 33 pitches so far. And another check on Dinsky. Owens came into the game hitting .265. He's got 6 home runs. I didn't even have a chance to mention that, I don't think, at the opening. And the fastball is up and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner not going, and Owens just gets a piece of that breaking ball. He was way out in front and just tipped it with the end of the bat. Stayed alive. 1-2, still the count now to him. Heideköpfe scored a run in the first inning. That was the RBI single off the bat of William Germain scoring Gary Owens. And then in the bottom of the first, the Disciples plated 2. Callum Murphy with an RBI single. Patrick Music then singled. Then Fildrik Llewellyn reached on a fielder's choice. And then Simon Lechner actually got the base hit. There's another check on the runner at first base. The Disciples had the bases loaded and nobody out, and nearly had a triple play happen. There goes the runner. Fly ball to right center field. This is playable for Steinlein. He's under it, and Dinsky has to go back. Steinlein makes the catch for out number 1. Owens flies out to right field. That'll bring up Simon Göring, who bounced out to third base his first time. I think Dinsky's going to keep trying to find a spot to run, especially Göring at the plate, a guy who puts the ball in play. There's a breaking ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes to Simon. Salazar got Göring on a ground ball his first time. Defense is 100% straight away against Simon. The pitch, that's high, 2-0. Dinsky off first base, taking his lead. 2-0 on Simon Göring, runner not going. The pitch is right down the pipe, and Göring was taking all the way. That's strike one. 2 balls and 1 strike. Another good crowd here. I'd say we got about 120. It's just my ballpark estimate, literally. I mean, when you try to ballpark it, you might as well be in a ballpark. And a check on Dinsky. 2-1. Still the count. 1 away. And there goes the runner. The pitch swung on and missed. Stroll's throw to second base is in plenty of time, and Dinsky is out. That was a great throw by Stroll, right on the money, received at second base by Llewellyn. And Dinsky is thrown out for the 4th time this year. He's now only 4 out of 8 in stolen bases. So he goes down 2-4 for the second out. And that makes the count 2-2 with 2 down and nobody on for Simon Göring. And the pitch. That's pulled foul. Off-speed pitch. And a slow ground ball to the right side. Llewellyn on a bunch of bounces, boots the ball, and Göring is going to reach. That ball took 3 or 4 bounces, and then Llewellyn, who was playing so deep, couldn't get there before it took yet 1 more bounce, and then it eluded his glove. That'll be an E4, a slow bouncer. There's been a bit of Jekyll and Hyde. The Disciples have gotten some breaks, and then they've also allowed some base runners in that fashion. And so now Sean Larry will have a chance to bat. That should have been the 3rd out of the inning. Pitch is outside. That's the 2nd error of the game. And the pitch, swinging a hard ground ball. That's a base hit. As Llewellyn this time was playing Larry to pull. Göring is going to go to third base. The throw cut by Henriquez. And a 2-out rally. As Larry with a clean single to right field. And Larry pulled the ball directly to the spot where Llewellyn had previously been playing. That's exactly where Llewellyn was standing for Göring. But Larry, of course, a left-hand hitter, so Llewellyn pulled more over towards the hole and got burned there. Sean Larry with a single. He's now 1 for 2, and now William Germain will step up to the plate. Germain singled to drive home a run his first time. That was a 2-out hit. He's got a chance to do it here too. And a good pitch. First pitch breaking ball looked like. That's a gutsy thing to do against an experienced hitter like Germain. But Salazar executing it perfectly, gets ahead 0-1. 1st and 3rd, the pitch. Check swing, he went around 0-2. Germain was looking for something else on that. Now with 2 strikes, Larry is not a base stealer, but he is 1 for 2. And with 2 outs, especially 1st and 3rd, maybe we see some base running shenanigans, but I doubt it. And the 0-2, fastball is high. Wasted upstairs, 1-2. Every inning has featured some sort of tension so far in this game. It's been highly entertaining thus far. The 1-2 pitch. A high pop up a mile high behind the plate, and it's going to be out of play behind us somewhere to the left. Into the trees. And the count still 1-2. Dinsky singled, was caught stealing. Owens flied out. Göring reached on an error. Larry singled. You could argue without that caught stealing, this would be a much bigger rally. There's a ground ball to third, gloved by Murphy. He will go the short way to second, and the inning is over. And the Disciples dodge a bullet as Jermaine grounds out 5-4 on the fielder's choice. For the Heideköpfe, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left on base. We are going to the bottom of the third. It is 2-1 Disciples. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Highbrow Brauerei Wildbräu. The good boys at the Highbrow Brauerei Wildbräu.
Und die Offensive der Disciples im dritten Inning wird eröffnet von unserem Third-Baseman Callum Murphy. Gerade noch das dritte ausgemacht und jetzt ist er schon wieder an der Platte.
To the bottom of the third inning we go. My name's Tim Collins. Happy you're joining us on today's broadcast. It's another exciting game here, a 1-run affair. We had 2 of those yesterday. And right now the score is 2-1 for the Disciples against the Heideköpfe. Drew Janssen will go to work against 2, 3, and 4 Callum Murphy, Patrick Music, and Fildrik Llewellyn. And the Belgian right-hander delivers a curveball that's too high on the first offering. Murphy singled to drive home the Disciples' first run. That was in the first inning. And the pitch outside, 2 balls and no strikes. That's 41 pitches now for Drew Janssen. Right-hander works quickly from the first base side of the rubber. A little sidearm action there, and he comes in with an outside fastball for a strike. Backdoor cutter, or not a cutter, excuse me, 2-seamer. Tailing back looked like. 2-1. And that one just catches the upper inside corner. And the count even 2-2. Little slider from Janssen. Murphy stepped out. Now he's back in. The pitch. And he tried to get him to chase, and Murphy able to let it go by. The count is full 3-2. That's a good pitching strategy from Janssen. And the payoff. Got him with a fastball. In the end, he just went right after him. That's the 3rd strikeout for Drew Janssen. 1 away here in the 3rd. Take another look at this. He just reared back and fired that one right down the middle, basically. Good movement, tailing back in towards the right-hand hitter. And Patrick Music will step up to the plate. Music has singled and scored as well. And he went around on a breaking ball, I believe. That's a strike. 0-1. Music, the DH in this game. No balls, 1 strike to count to him, and Janssen comes back firing. Breaking ball, this one is outside, 1-1. Yeah, give a shout out to Alex watching from Paderborn. Off the fists and into left field for a base hit. Music able to fight that pitch in on his hands and float it into shallow left field for his second hit. Take a look at this. Good job of keeping the bat level through the zone and squaring it up as best he could. And he is aboard. He is 8 out of 9 in the stolen base department. Let's see if he does any running here. Fildrik Llewellyn will come up to the plate, again batting left-handed. Llewellyn reached on a fielder's choice his first time. Big hole on the right side and a big swing. There goes the runner for second base. And I think they caught Jermaine sleeping. He throws it into center field, and Music is in at third. That'll be another error as Jermaine did not see that music was running, and nobody covered the bag. Watch this on the replay. So that'll be a stolen base and again an error. That's exactly what Steinlein got. Now Llewellyn also on the swing and miss kind of came out of his crouch, but it did not appear to interfere with the throw, and there's no argument on that. So that's going to be another E2, I presume. Stolen base and an E2. That's 2 of those in the game. And Llewellyn with an 0-1 count now has a runner at third. The corner is up. Breaking ball. Served slowly on the ground to short. It's booted by the shortstop, Liedke. He has no play, and coming home to score is Patrick Music. You could see that Liedke actually had his eye on the runner, Music, who actually also waited before breaking for the plate. Really good base running by Patrick Music. And he will come home and score. That's going to probably go as an E6. But it was also excellent base running, and so far, shoddy defense. Although an RBI would be given because the shortstop was back, so we presume that they were conceding the run anyway on a ground ball to short. So a run batted in for Llewellyn, but he reaches on the error. And you can see also he shortened up his swing. You know, he's a guy who we like to have a lot of fun watching. We have a lot of fun watching Llewellyn swing from the heels and let it fly. Well, that time he just sort of flipped the bat to the ball to try to drive home the run, and that's exactly what he did. The Disciples lead 3-1. Llewellyn on first, and now Breland Almadova looks at a breaking ball down and away. 3 errors in the game for the Heideköpfe, uncharacteristic for them. Almadova is the one who hit that line drive with the bases loaded. There goes Llewellyn, and the ball off the glove of Jermaine. No chance for a throw. And Llewellyn will get a stolen base on that.
In scoring position.
That's 3 stolen bases in this game for the Disciples in 3 innings. The pitch, I believe, was called a strike. Let's watch that on the replay. 1-1 the count. Now for Breland Almadova. This is the replay of that last pitch. It was indeed called a strike. And now a breaking ball hit in the air to right field. Sean Larry drifting over. He makes the catch. Runner tags from second, heads to third, and will make it. Llewellyn advances. That's the second out of the inning on the fly ball. And the Disciples. Oh, and then on appeal, they're going to say Llewellyn left too early. So Nate Thomas threw the ball to Liedke. They appealed, and Llewellyn is called out. You know what? I got to say, it was close. It certainly looked like there was a chance he might have gone too early. Now, I can't have my eyes in 2 places at once, but that's exactly what the first base umpire, Georg Veit, saw. And so Llewellyn is out on appeal. The play, I guess, goes 9 to 4 to 6. It was Thomas to Liedke to make that appeal play at second base. And so Llewellyn is out. That's a double play, and the inning is over. So we will go to the 4th inning with the Disciples leading 3-1. Hard Disciples Baseball. Baseball is brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. You know, it's been a wild game so far. We've had an out on appeal. We've had that weird double play. This is all, you know, man, yeah. Just keep watching, folks, because it's interesting. I'll see you in the next F inning. We go to the fourth inning. Disciples leading 3-1, and Nate Sean Thomas 5, 6, and 7 as Thomas fouls away the first offering. Thomas, Janssen, and Liedke. That ball, you know, it looked like it was destined to be way out of play, and then the wind picked up and nearly kept it in play, and Zambrano, racing over near the line, nearly made the catch. But it's a foul ball on the first pitch, strike one.
Und dafür darf der Nate Thomas aber bei einem Strike weitermachen.
Hi, yeah. Alex from Paderborn. Muzic, well, Kevin Muzic, the umpire, is different from Patrick Music, the second baseman. Nate Sean Thomas with a one-strike count, squares to bunt, and looks at strike two. It's been a wild game so far. Let me see if I can even recap all the craziness we've had so far. 1-1 on Thomas. Fly ball to center field. Almadova right there. Comes in a few steps and gloves it. In the first inning, the Heideköpfe scored a run on a two-out single off the bat of William Germain. In the bottom of the first inning, the Disciples tied the game right away as Steinlein walked, stole second, reached third on an error, and then came home on Callum Murphy's single. Then Music singled, and Llewellyn reached on a fielder's choice. He tried to bunt the ball, and everybody was safe. And with the bases loaded, Brilland Almadova hit a line drive that ricocheted off the pitcher. Meanwhile, there's a shown bunt and taken strike from Janssen. Almadova's line drive ricocheted off the pitcher Janssen and went to Nate Thomas, who caught it in the air for the first out. Then all the runners were caught off the base, and Thomas, trying to throw behind the runners, overthrew Goering. And then when that happened, Murphy from third base was thrown out trying to come home. There's a long drive to left field, and that ball is gone. And that's why you have the Ohtani rule. Drew Janssen, the DH, and the starting pitcher just launched an 0-2 offering way out of this ballpark to the delight of the Heideköpfe fans. Watch this. That was an absolute no-doubter. His 6th home run of the year, and it is a 3-2 game. Zambrano in left field turned around and just watched. So Drew Janssen helps his own cause. He's 2 for 2. Now, meanwhile, while I'm recapping the weird plays in this game, Janssen was in the midst of one of them. That pitch was low and away to Simon Liedke. So anyway, that line drive that turned into a weird double play for the Disciples, that was in the first inning. Well, in the second inning, as the count is 1-1 on Liedke. Breaking ball, good pitch, 1-2. Janssen led off the second inning with a single. Simon Liedke hit a ground ball that was ruled a single. It kicked off the third baseman's glove and rolled into short left field. And while that was happening, Janssen tried to go to third base. He was thrown out there. And then while that was happening, Liedke tried to go to second base. He was thrown out there. There's a line drive foul. The count's still 1-2. So that was a strange double play. Then we had a normal bottom of the second inning with 2 strikeouts and a ground ball. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Slow ground ball left side, going to be a tough play. Past the dive of Murphy, reached by Henriquez, and the throw is not in time from deep short. Infield single for Simon Liedke. Nothing Henriquez could do on that. It was slowly hit to deep short. Liedke gets down the line quickly, and he's aboard with a 1-out single. So Liedke on first base. He's 3 out of 5 in stolen bases this year. And now Timo Plitz is the hitter. There's a check on Simon. He dives back. And Simon Lechner trying the hidden ball trick. Did not work, to the surprise of no one. The pitch to Timo Plitz is a strike. Fastball. So this, by the way, this is a pinch hitter. This is not Timo Plitz. Maurice Montgomery is now batting. So there's a slow chopper left side, and they're going to let it roll, and it's a good decision. It rolled foul because that would have been a base hit.
So, die Ruhe bewahrt, Nerven bewahrt, abgewartet, Ball ins Foul-Territory laufen lassen. Damit übrigens neu eingewechselter Schlagmann Maurice Montgomery. Wieder zurück. Kein Ball, 2 Strikes, bei einem Aus.
So 1 strike the count, 2 strikes the count rather on Maurice Montgomery. Montgomery, by the way, is 3 out of 13 this year. Pinch hitting for Timo Plitz. He will most likely go in and play the infield. We'll check that in the next half inning. But he's an infielder by trade. There's a pitch low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We might see him at second base, and maybe Thomas will move to short or third. But Klaus Ekla has some flexibility there with what he wants to do. 1-2 pitch. Popped up, foul, out of play. So Plitz was in there and struck out in his only plate appearance. And then anyway, to recap the last strange play we've had so far, it was Llewellyn getting thrown out on appeal. There's a swing and a miss. Breaking ball down and away to get Montgomery. That's the second out of the inning. Last inning, the Disciples scored a run when Patrick Music singled, stole second, reached third on an error, and then scored on the ground ball off the bat of Llewellyn. Llewellyn then reached on an error from that same ground ball. And he had made it to second base after stealing. And then Almadova flied out to right field. Llewellyn tagged and went to third, and then was called out for leaving the bag too early. There's a big swing and a miss by David Dinsky. And so that should get you caught up in the weirdness. So we've played 3.5 innings, and we've got 3 weird plays. So par for the course. There's a check on the runner at first base. Liedke at first base with 2 outs. Might go at some point. Not going here, though. There's a check swing, and that is a pitch in the dirt. They're going to appeal. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Certainly looked like he did. So it's strike 2. Dinsky singled his first time and then was caught stealing. Fastball is high. One and two. Breaking ball, got him swinging. Strike 3, 2 strikeouts in the inning for Salazar. He gives up just the home run. 1 run on 2 hits. No errors, 1 left at the end of 3.5. We're actually halfway through. It is 3-2, Disciples leading the Heideköpfe. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauer Eifield Brewery. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning, 3-2, the Disciples leading the Heideköpfe. And as we mentioned, Nate Sean Thomas went to third base. Maurice Montgomery, who pinch hit for Timo Plitz, he is now playing second base. Simon Liedke is still at shortstop. Simon Göring is still at first base, and so that's the infield. Simon Lechner, by the way, another Simon, he's at the plate. 6, 7, and 8 for the Disciples against Drew Janssen, and that first one is in for a strike. Lechner singled to drive home a run in the first inning. It'll be Lechner, Zambrano, and then Stroll. Swing and a miss way out in front. 0-2 to Simon. Drew Janssen has thrown 55 pitches. He's allowed 4 base hits. The double leg kick and missed outside. And got him with a back foot slider. That was an excellent pitch by Drew Janssen. That's the 4th strikeout for him. And that leads off things here in the 4th. Good pitch. You see that thing drop down and away, or down and in on the left-hand hitter. So now Anderson Zambrano. Zambrano grounded out his first time, 0 for 1. And looking to bunt, takes a strike. It was ruled that he swung at that anyway, but I think the pitch was on the inside corner. Nate Thomas playing deep at third. Nothing in 1 the count. Here it comes. Strike 2, backdoor breaking ball. Just catching the edge. 0-2. Strike 3 on the inside corner. Breaking ball got him looking. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And Zambrano gone in 3 pitches. That one, according to Chupic, catching that inside edge, you can see Zambrano started to jackknife out of the way. He thought it was too far inside. But that is the 5th strikeout for Drew Janssen, as he's starting to find it here with the breaking ball. Felix Stroll lines one, caught on the fly by the second baseman Maurice Montgomery, and the inning is over. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Drew Janssen. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 4 complete, 3-2 Disciples. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We go to the top of the 5th inning here in Haar. The Disciples leading the Heideköpfe by a score of 3-2. My name's Tim Collins. Glad you're with us here on a Sunday afternoon. It's overcast and cloudy, but it is warm, and it has been, most importantly, dry. There are some storms forecasted for a little bit later this afternoon, but here we are in the 5th inning, and it's going to be a 7-inning game. So Gary Owens up for his third look at Salazar, and the breaking ball is low. Owens is 1 for 2. He doubled and scored and then flied out. Top of the order, 1, 2, 3. That one is low, 2 balls and no strikes. Owens, Simon Göring, and then Sean Larry against the right-hander Juan Salazar. The Disciples have gotten excellent pitching this weekend. Mile-high pop-up left side. Murphy giving it a look near the Disciples' dugout. He just barely runs out of room as the ball clanks off the roof of the dugout. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Damit ein ziemlich lauter Strike.
So 2 balls and 1 strike on Gary Owens. It is 3-2 Disciples. The Disciples scored 2 in the first and 1 in the third. Heidenheim with 1 in the first and 1 last inning in the fourth. A high drive, deep left center field, long run for Almadova and Zambrano. Back into the gap. Almadova one-hands it. A good play by Breland, the new center fielder, as he ran that ball down deep in center field. I think in Heidenheim that ball is long gone, but here it's a flyout, and so there's 1 away. Watch this replay. Owens got the arms extended and drove it, but didn't get enough to get it over that deep wall in center field. Maybe got under it just a little bit. So Simon Göring with 1 away. Göring is 0 for 2. He reached on an error and grounded out. And the pitch, that's low and away. 1 ball, no strikes. And a high pop-up behind the plate, out of play, over our heads, we hope. And it is indeed out of the ballpark. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Simon Göring. One and 1. Just a little bit low. Fastball from Salazar. If you're just joining us, you missed some wackiness earlier in the game. There have been some weird double plays. Been 3 weird double plays. There's a line drive foul. Klaus Eckle gets out of the way of that one. There was the double play in the first inning with the bases loaded. A line drive that was ricocheted off the pitcher to the second baseman, Nate Thomas, off the bat of Almadova. That resulted in a strange double play. Then there was the double play on the base hit where both runners were trying to advance and got thrown out respectively. And then there was the double play on the fly ball in which Llewellyn failed to tag up from second base, or he left too early, according to the umpire, Georg Veit. Meanwhile, Simon Göring, I think, has something in his eye, and Vlado Čupić took the time to dust off home plate. No pitch clock here. And Göring is ready to step back in the box with a 2-2 count. 1 away. Salazar looks up and takes a deep breath, has his sign from Stroll, and comes set. Here's the 2-2. Slow ground ball up the middle to his left. Henriquez gloves from behind the bag, throws to first in time, 2 down. Henriquez ranging to his left. One-handed that one easily as he glided across the bag and slung it to first base for the easy second out, and now Sean Larry will step up to the plate. And Larry takes inside for ball 1. Sean has singled and struck out. He singled in the third inning after Göring had reached on an error, and that presented a 2-out threat. That one is down and away 2-0. However, Salazar was able to retire Germain on a ground ball to get out of that inning. 2-0 the count to Sean Larry. And Salazar deals outside, ball 3. Larry for sure will have the green light here. And he swings and smacks it deep to right field. Way back it goes. It's off that high part of the net. And Larry is cruising into second base. He is there with a double. You know, a couple of years ago, that would have been a home run. But now you still need to hit the ball completely out of the ballpark to get credit for a home run. So here, Sean Larry only gets a double out of it. That ball was absolutely crushed. So a two-out double. I told you he'd be swinging 3-0, and he was, and he did not miss his pitch. And so William Germain will get a chance with Sean Larry, the tying run, standing on second base. Stroll is out on the mound having a chat with Salazar, and now out comes Ryan Bollinger from the Disciples dugout. This is a big spot in the game. We're in the 5th inning. Remember, it's only a 7-inning game. Salazar has pitched well to this point, 83 pitches. You know, I mentioned that the Heideköpfe are somewhat of a shadow of their former selves in terms of their offensive prowess, but they still have 139 runs scored. This team can still beat you the old-fashioned way by knocking the ball out of the ballpark. And this weekend, Disciples pitching has held them very well in check despite this, the split. But William Germain, he's one of the guys who has been hitting like his old self this year. In fact, Larry and Germain are the two guys. And Larry is on second base. 2 down. And the pitch is inside. You know, I think that conversation with Bollinger might have been something to the effect of, hey, you have first base open. You don't have to throw something right down the pipe to Germain. You have Nate Thomas. Of course, Thomas is an old friend whom we know very well, and he's an excellent player. But he has had limited playing time this year. He's the on-deck hitter. 1-0 on Germain. And in the dirt, 2-0. I think Germain is not going to see anything close to the plate. Sometimes that's playing with fire because if you're going to walk somebody, it's usually just better strategy to just go ahead and issue the intentional walk. 2-0. And that one is in there at the top of the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike. Germain, either he was taken all the way or he was looking for something else because that pitch looked to be right down the middle. Maybe he was not expecting to even see a strike in this at-bat. And the 2-1. That's outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That was a much better, what I guess you would call a pitcher's pitch. 3 balls and 1 strike. And he lines it down the line, foul, 3-2. Full count. So much for the idea of pitching around him. I see the question, by the way, why only 7 innings? You know, I thought the same thing myself. But I guess it has to do with, well, these two teams played 2 games yesterday, and because of the rain makeup, this game was also originally supposed to be part of a doubleheader, so it would have been a 7-inning game anyhow. So I guess that's why they're playing 7 innings today. Full count to Germain, the pitch. A high pop-up, a mile high. Will it stay in play? Stroll takes the mask off and foul ground, stays with it and makes the catch. And a great job by Juan Salazar. He is fired up, clapping his hands, pitches around the 2-out double and gets Germain to pop out to the catcher. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 4.5, another exciting ball game here in Haar. It is 3-2 Disciples. Haar Disciples Baseball is brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Haar. 3-2, the Disciples leading the Heideköpfe. This has been a weekend series. 3 games in a single weekend, very unusual thanks to Mother Nature's dominance of the first 2 attempts of these teams trying to play each other. Zaino Henriquez swings and slaps the first pitch in the air to left field. Coming over and circling in is David Dinsky to make the catch, and that's the first out on the first pitch here in the 5th inning. 9-1-2, so now the lineup turns over. Luke Steinlein will step up to be followed by Callum Murphy. Drew Janssen, that was only his 63rd pitch. And Steinlein, who has walked and scored and struck out, will be up there for his 3rd plate appearance. And this one is in there at the knees for a strike, 0-1. Janssen has 5 strikeouts in this game. Breaking ball, rolled on the ground to second, played by Montgomery. He throws out Steinlein, 1 away. 2 away, excuse me. Janssen now, after the first 3 innings of the game, having some base runners all over the place, he has now retired 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. And Callum Murphy will step up with 2 outs and nobody on. And judging by the umbrellas that are starting to pop up, I think it has begun to rain here. Not hard, though. And the pitch. Strike on the outside corner. 0-1. Murphy shakes his head. Breaking ball is inside. Janssen has really increased his tempo. He is ready to throw it as soon as he gets the ball back from the catcher. Breaking ball, beauty. 1 ball and 2 strikes. No activity in the Heideköpfe bullpen. Bit of a pause and a leg hold, straightens it, kicks again, curveball, line drive on 1 hop off the glove of Nate Thomas at 3rd. That's a base hit for Callum Murphy. As Murphy with 2 outs will reach. Watch this delivery again by Drew Janssen. He paused and then he kicked and then straightened, then kicked again and hung the breaking ball, and Murphy was waiting for it. And so 2 down, Patrick Music now steps up to the plate. Raining a little bit harder here. Murphy on first base, not going. The pitch, breaking ball, and that's in for a strike. Music as a DH today, well, he's just picked right up where he always is. 2 for 2, 2 runs scored, a stolen base. That's a check on Murphy at first base. The skies are not ominous. In fact, it's a little brighter now than it was before, even though it's raining now. So I don't think this is going to last very long. Breaking ball hit off the end of the bat down the left field line. It is a fair ball into the corner. Murphy around second, heads to 3rd. He gets the stop sign. Music into second with a double. He's 3 for 3. And the Disciples are in business with runners on 2nd and 3rd for Fildrik Llewellyn, although there are 2 down. It was a breaking ball. He hit it right off the end of the bat, but down the left field line and out of the reach of Dinsky, who covers a lot of ground to get there, but it either landed right on the line or just a few centimeters to the right of it. But it was a fair ball, no argument from anybody. And so runners on 2nd and 3rd for Fildrik Llewellyn. And Llewellyn, boy, if he could get a 2-out base hit, that would sure make the Disciples feel a lot better about this 1-run lead they currently have. And the pitch, a ground ball pulled fouled on the right field side. Llewellyn out in front, strike 1. Looked like an off-speed pitch from Drew Janssen. And now there is some stirring off in the first base dugout side for the Heideköpfe. 0-1, swing and a miss. Good tailing fastball, 0-2 on Llewellyn. So Janssen trying to squelch a 2-out rally. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. Murphy is at 3rd, Music is at 2nd. 0-2 on Llewellyn as the raindrops are trickling down. Here it comes. Strike 3 on a breaking ball in the inside corner. 6th strikeout of the game for Drew Janssen, and he does indeed pitch around a 2-out single and double. Watch this one again on the replay. That one is right there, and Llewellyn knew it. So the Disciples don't score. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. To the 6th inning, another nail-biter here in Haar. 3-2 Disciples lead. Haar Disciples Baseball is brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. Well, we go to the top of the 6th inning, and as you can see, it's raining a lot harder now. Now, it always looks worse on camera than it really is, but I can confirm it is raining quite hard. But the skies are already getting brighter, so I don't think anybody expects this to last very long. And so they're going to just keep on going. So let's see how that affects things here. Nate-Sean Thomas, 5, 6, and 7. Drew Janssen and Simon Liedke. And Salazar deals inside. I think the rain has already let up a little bit in comparison to a few seconds ago. Yeah, Santa Claus is watching from Freising, the North Pole of Munich. Pitches outside. 2 balls, no strikes to Nate-Sean Thomas. Thomas in this game is 0 for 2. And I think the rain is already letting up. Not in center field. Swinging a foul. So the center field camera is still under the cloud, but most of us here back here are not. So you should see that start to clear up in a few minutes. 2 balls and 1 strike to Nate-Sean Thomas. 3-2, the Disciples leading. Remember, it's a 7-inning game, so here we are in the 6th. That's down low.
Go, Juan!
3 balls and 1 strike. It's been really exciting baseball. Good, close, tight games. Yesterday, 3-2 and 1-0. Here we are again, 3-2. And outside ball 4. And that's the last guy you want to walk. Nate-Sean Thomas, he will take first base. Representing the tying run, he is a threat to steal. And Drew Janssen, who has singled and then hit a long home run, his 6th of the year. He will step up, and Charles Poe is going to come out to the mound. We will possibly see a pitching change here. I cannot see into the Disciples' dugout, but Poe is walking very slowly and deliberately out to the mound. And he is shaking Juan Salazar's hand, who pitched a great game today. So the young right-hander will depart here in the 6th inning, as he is eligible for the win. And if Thomas were to score, that would still at least shield him from being saddled with a loss. So pitching change, looks like Marco Eberle is coming into the game. And we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. So the new pitcher is Marco Eberle. And he pitched yesterday. In a total of 5 2/3 innings this season, he's allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. That's an ERA of 1.59. And he is a crafty righty who throws kind of from the side and is very tough to pick up for right-hand hitters. And so he will go to work against the DH, Drew Jensen, the Ohtani of today's game. And he's been pitching like Ohtani and hitting like him. He hit a home run. He's got 6 strikeouts. But he's looking up on the wrong side of a 3-2 score, trying to do something about it right here. Runner on first base with nobody out. And the pitch is a ball inside. Eberle trying to come in on the inside corner. And give a shout out, Stephanie Music. It was nice meeting you as well when you were here. Patrick having another typical excellent day at the plate. And a drive, deep left field, going back. Zambrano turns and looks high off the net. Racing to third is Thomas. He's being waved around. Here's the relay throw to the plate. It is not in time. We are tied. Drew Jensen doing it all for the Heideköpfe. He didn't get that ball high enough to get it out of the ballpark, but he certainly hit it hard enough. And I told you, Nate Sean Thomas, a speedy base runner, that run will be charged to Juan Salazar. And so an RBI double for Drew Jensen, and we've got ourselves a brand new ball game. 3-3 is the score. Jensen has singled, homered, and now doubled, so I guess you could say he's a triple shy of the cycle, if you care about that sort of thing. Simon Liedke now. There's still nobody out here in the 6th. And he tries to push a bunt, and he deadens it perfectly. Eberle has one play to first, and he makes it in time, just barely. Moving to third on the play is Jensen. That'll be a sacrifice bunt. The play goes 1-3, and there's one down, and the Disciples, let's see if they will bring the infield in here. Maurice Montgomery having a chat with Klaus Eckle. Now, the Disciples yesterday tried a squeeze, and it didn't work. Now, Montgomery, who, by the way, as a hitter this year is only 3 for 13. You know, he might be a candidate for something like that. So let's see what the Disciples do. The infield is in. And no sign of a bunt. A swing and a line drive to right field. That is a base hit past the dive of Steinlein all the way to the wall. In to score is Jensen. Montgomery around second. He's heading to third. He's going to make it with a triple standing up. No bunt. How about a triple? And Heideköpfe now lead 4-3. First pitch swinging. He got a fastball away and put a solid swing on it. Steinlein chased after it and dove headlong and was maybe about a foot or so short. And that ball would have tied the game anyway. But now you have another run at third base with still only one out. Dinsky, the hitter, the infield still has to play in. And the pitch, that's low. Is this Konstantin Hole pinch hitting for Dinsky? In fact, it is. So Konstantin Hole pinch hitting as Klaus Eckle pushing all the buttons, and now the squeeze is on. The ball is bunted in front of the plate, picked up by Stroll, and he tags out the runner trying to come home. So that's going to be 2 unassisted. Boy, we've seen 2 failed suicide squeeze attempts in 2 days. Another weird play. Put that one in your books. The runner was breaking for the plate. The ball was bunted, but it was right in front of the plate. Stroll picked it up and just tagged out Montgomery coming to the plate. 2 unassisted. That's a fielder's choice. And Hole is at first base. There are 2 down. That's a break for the Disciples. Don't blink or you're going to miss something here. Gary Owens at the plate now. Hole on first base. And the pitch. A pop-up behind the plate, out of play. Owens, I think, had a good pitch to hit. He had that look on his face as if to say, ooh, I just missed it. 0-1 to him. Well, this game has been action-packed, and it's only 4-3. There goes the runner. The pitch low, and that'll be a stolen base for Hull as it was in the dirt and Stroll was unable to handle it. So 1 ball, 1 strike on Gary Owens. Well, yesterday the suicide squeeze failed for the Disciples. Today it fails for the Heideköpfe. We've seen 3 super weird double plays, and now the runner's caught as Eberle did the inside move, and he is tagged out. My goodness. The play goes 1-5. So we've seen 5.5 innings of just wacky, wonderful, wild baseball. And at the end of those 5.5, the Heideköpfe lead by a score of 4-3. We'll be right back. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. All right, so just another normal Sunday. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning. There have been 3 super weird double plays in this game. We've had a failed suicide squeeze for the 2nd consecutive day. We've got sirens blaring, as we always do. And for the Disciples, Breland Almadova, 5, 6, and 7. Simon Lechner and Anderson Zambrano. And Almadova squares to bunt, takes a curve for a strike. Meanwhile, what about the day Drew Janssen is having? Now he's in line to be the winning pitcher if he can keep things together through 2 more innings. He's 3 for 3 at the plate with a home run and a double. Breaking balls outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's pitched 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk. He's got 6 Ks in the game so far. And he pitched out of a 2-out jam last inning. Tries a, look like a little change. And Almadova watching it go by for a 2-ball and 1 strike count. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Two and 2. Breaking ball. That time, Janssen tried to pitch with no windup whatsoever. He did not take the step back. You know, we saw, who was it, Pablo Guillen of the Legionnaire. He pitches also with no windup, just gets the ball and throws. This time, Janssen, he's been varying it quite a bit, and this time, he walks Almadova. So the tying run is aboard. Almadova from University of Hawaii is on first base. Let's see if he will try to do any running here for Simon Lechner. Yeah, the madness continues is right. At some point, I'm going to try to, again, to recap some of the weird plays we've seen in this game. And now time is called. Jared Mortensen is going to come out to the mound and talk to Drew Janssen. Well, that'll give us a chance. So in the first inning with the bases loaded, Almadova hit a line drive that hit off the glove of Janssen and was caught on the fly by Nate Thomas. And you might think that a normal double play would ensue after that, but no, it was not the case that, you know, they just doubled off one of the runners from the bases. No, Thomas threw the ball to Simon Göring, who was racing to try to cover second, but then overthrew it. And on that play, the runner from third, Callum Murphy, who had then tagged up, decided to come home, and he was thrown out there. So that was a double play. That was one. Then in the second inning, Drew Janssen singled. Simon Liedke also singled, but the ball went off the glove of the third baseman Murphy and rolled away. While that happened, both Janssen and Liedke tried to advance, and they were both thrown out, one after the other. Janssen first was thrown out at third base, and then Liedke was thrown out directly after at second. So that was a double play. Then we had the double play where Llewellyn was out for leaving too early on a fly ball. Then we had the failed suicide last inning. Suicide squeeze, I should specify. And a pitch to Lechner is a strike. Almadova was faking going. And I'm sure there's some other madness that I missed. I try to keep track of these things, but my scorecard generally in a game like this becomes very quickly unreadable. And a check on Almadova. He dives back. Das Spiel ist gar nicht langweilig, würde ich auch sagen. In case you can hear. And another check on him, and he's back again, just barely. That throw was a little high as Janssen tried the step and snap throw. And Göring had to go up to get it and bring down the tag, and that gave Almadova a chance to dive back. So the count 0-1 on Simon Lechner. Not going, and a bunt. And it's off the glove of Thomas, and everybody is going to be safe. Well, the other part of the story is that it's been some pretty shoddy defense. That's going to be another error, I got to believe. And that's going to be the fourth of the game for the Heideköpfe. There have been two throwing errors by Germain. There was an error on the shortstop. And now Nate Thomas, that's E5. And so the Disciples are set up. They have 2 on and nobody out. And Anderson Zambrano. You can see Thomas was charging and tried to one-hand it. So Jensen going to have to deal with Zambrano with 2 on and nobody out. The tying run is Almadova at second base. Lechner the lead run at first, and Zambrano squares and bunts it foul. Well, if you're a fan of bunting, I guess you can be encouraged by this weekend's play because there's been so much of it. However, if you're also a fan of successful bunting, you're maybe going to be a little less pleased. However, most important thing I'm going to say all day, the sun, I think, is trying to come out. Zambrano is squaring already. Göring is about 20 feet away. The breaking ball is laid down. Göring barehands it, fires to third. Easy out there. And Zambrano will reach first base on a fielder's choice. And so Göring was not buying that there was some kind of bluff on. He came in. That was like the old Anthony Rizzo thing that he used to do with Joe Madden managing the Cubs. Göring was closer to the plate than the pitcher is. He's not in your screen right there, but he was way in, and he fielded that ball. You see where he is right there. He had plenty of time to make that play. That allows, of course, Thomas to hold at third. So, 1 away as Zambrano reaches on a fielder's choice, and now Stroll with a chance here. Let's see if he's going to also try to bunt. I doubt that's going to be the case. Breaking ball is outside. Stroll is 0 for 2. He struck out. He did hit a solid line drive his last at bat, but it was caught on the fly by Montgomery, the second baseman. 1 away in the bottom of the 6th. Remember, it's only a 7-inning game today. And the pitch outside, 2-0. And time is called as Lechner on first base is tying his shoe. Yeah, just a mad ball game today. Bonkers. We had 2 nail biters yesterday. This one is a nail biter, but it's almost like you're waiting for the next comical thing to take place. Doesn't quite have the same weight. That one is outside, 3-0. But these games are so important. The Disciples, they're sitting in 4th place. They're 11-11 ahead of Stuttgart and Hünstetten, and the first 4 teams will make the playoffs. The Disciples, including today, will still have 3 more games to play against the Heideköpfe. And a strike, 3-1. Stroll taking all the way, obviously. Zaino Henriquez is on deck. Felix Stroll would love to come through here. Big hole on the left side. 3-1, the pitch. Outside and low, ball 4. The bases are loaded. In this inning, Drew Janssen has walked 2 batters. And then there was an error, the E6. And Zaino Henriquez, there is activity in the Heideköpfe bullpen. I can't see who it is who's throwing, though. So Henriquez, who's 0 for 2, but he's put the ball in play both times. And here, you know, if he were to serve a fly ball somewhere, this could tie the game. A ground ball could be a double play. Up the middle, they're playing back. The corners are in. Big moment in the game. The base is loaded. The pitch. A ground ball on one hop to Liedtke. Throws to second. One on to first. A double play. Maurice Montgomery to Simon Liedtke to Simon Göring. 4-6-3, and the inning is over. Henriquez hit it pretty hard, but to the wrong. And the Disciples are turned away in the bottom of the 6th. We go to the 7th inning. 4-3 Heideköpfe. This is Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. So we go to the top of the 7th inning. You know, in between innings, I remarked, that's the first normal double play we've seen in this game from the 4 we've had. And Jan Endriat is going to come on and try to pitch a scoreless 7th inning. He has only worked 11 innings so far this year, and it has not gone all that well. ERA of over 16. And he's going to deal with the top of the order. Gary Owens, Simon Göring, and Sean Larry. Endriat, of course, no stranger to any of these players. A right-hander, works from the stretch and deals to Owens. Curveball, gets the corner for a strike. Owens was at the plate when Hull was caught between second and third. Swing and a miss, strike 2. So it's 4-3. The Heideköpfe, who have scored 2 runs in the 6th inning to take the lead, to come from behind and take the lead. Drew Janssen, of course, has been the player of the game so far. And an off-speed pitch gets Gary Owens way out in front. From Jan Endriat coming in and making quick work of Gary Owens. There's one away. That'll bring up Simon Göring as you watch the replay of this delivery. Good breaking ball. Göring is 0 for 3 today. Another one-run game. The Disciples, looking to their half of the 7th, will have the top of the order. This one is inside off the glove of Stroll. 1 ball, no strikes. Juan Salazar was excellent. He went 5 innings plus a batter. He allowed 8 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He will get a no decision in this game. Iberle pitched 1 inning, allowed 2 hits and 1 run. And that's the decisive run of the game so far. On the other side, it's been Drew Janssen all the way for the Heideköpfe as that breaking ball is low and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Janssen is 3 for 3 with a single, a double, and a home run. He's driven in 2 and scored 2. And Göring with a big chopper foul. 2 balls and a strike. It'll be interesting to see whether Janssen will come back out for the bottom of the 7th. He's only at 90 pitches, so I think there's a good chance we might see that happen. There's no activity in the Heideköpfe bullpen at the moment. 2-1 on Simon Göring with 1 out here. And that missed inside, an off-speed pitch, and the count now 3-1. Janssen has only walked 3, and the Disciples on their part, they've only walked 1 batter in this game. The pitching has really been excellent this weekend for both teams. And the 3-1 from Endriat. Swing and a miss. Göring swinging through a pitch on the inside corner. Now he's walking away as if it's strike 3, but it's only strike 2. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I think he might have thought that one of those was called a strike when it in fact was not. I had the count as being 3-1. I mean, the Disciples, I'm sure, would love it if he just decided to walk away. I've mentioned before, he's one of the hardest guys to strike out in the Bundesliga. So a full count as Göring is still up there. Ground ball on 2 hops to Murphy from deep third. He throws out Göring for the 2nd out. And now Sean Larry will step up. Sean Larry is 2 for 3. He struck out, singled, and then on a 3-0 count, drilled a long double high off the net in right center field. Another typical day at the office for him, seemingly, against the Disciples. Left-hand hitter with lots of power. The Disciples are going to put the old school defensive shift on. So the only person on the left side of the infield is Callum Murphy. Henriquez, the shortstop, is at the right of the bag, and the second baseman, Llewellyn, is in short right field. And the pitch is in the dirt for a ball. That's the shift that you don't see in Major League Baseball anymore. I have seen Larry go to left field, but it's pretty few and far between, so the Disciples are giving him the full-on Joey Gallo treatment. And the pitch, swing and a miss.
Here we go.
1 ball, 1 strike. Now you wonder if when a hitter sees something like that, it causes them to change their strategy. I know that in the major leagues, that is not really a thing. From what I understand, the research that's been done into it, it's just so hard to make contact with a ball going 100 miles an hour that hitters don't really bother worrying about where to hit it. But here in the Bundesliga, maybe, because there's nobody throwing 100 miles an hour here. Pitches outside, 2-1. This is like the opposite of what you used to hear in the 90s, the pitch them away, play them away strategy. Well, this is pull everybody to the right side This is basically what happens to me when I'm playing softball. 2 balls and 1 strike on Sean Larry. And he swings through that one. The pitch disappearing down under the bat head of Sean Larry, who turns and walks and takes a little breath. So the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Heideköpfe number 3 hitter. Two outs, nobody on. The 2-2 pitch. Just missed. Breaking ball that was down. I'd like to see that one again, only because I can't really see where it was from where I'm sitting. That was clearly down. Full count. And he got him swinging. 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning for Jan Endriat. And so here we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Last chance for the Disciples, as it is 4-3 Heideköpfe. The Disciples have the top of their order coming up, and we'll be right back. This is the Heart Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning here in Haar. My name's Tim Collins. Happy you're joining us on this beautiful Sunday. And boy, what a weekend of baseball it's been. These two teams have played nothing but nail-biter baseball. Yesterday, a split, 3-2 for Heidenheim, and then 1-0 for the Disciples. And today, Heidenheim has scratched their way back, and they have a 4-3 lead, and it's going to be up to the top of the order. Luke Steinlein starts things off. Drew Jansen has been in there the whole way for the Heideköpfe. He's also been the star of the show with the bat. So he's trying to be literally the Ohtani. He was in there as the Ohtani ruled DH and pitcher, and he's doing everything. He hit a home run. There's a strike on the next one, 1 ball, 1 strike. Drew Jansen has struck out 6, walked 3. Breaking ball is inside. Allowed 6 hits to the Disciples. Hasn't been knocking the bats out of their hands, but he's been effective and made quality pitches when he's need to. Upstairs, ball 3. Steinlein would love a leadoff walk here. But this one's still a long, long way from being over. We've had 3 really strange double plays in this game. Steinlein swings and foul tips. Full count. For me, personally, this has been one of the most exciting games I've seen this year. So let's see what happens here in the last of the 7th. The payoff pitch. High, ball 4. There's a leadoff walk. That's the 4th walk issued by Jansen, and Klaus Ekle looking down into the bullpen. There is activity. Ekle deals with a wealth of pitching, and so sometimes the decision is easy, sometimes it's not. Now you got Jansen, who has pitched very well, and Callum Murphy, who just had a short conversation with the head coach Charles Poe. Murphy is 2 for 3 today with 2 singles and a strikeout. Steinlein, that was his second walk. He stole a base, reached third, and scored in the first inning. Let's see if he tries to do the same thing here. And, of course, Jensen thinking right along with us. Throws over. Steinlein was but 1 step off the bag, being held on by Goering. And he is going. The pitch is taken high. The throw to second base is not in time as the ball squirted out of the glove of the shortstop, Simon Liedtke. So a stolen base. Boy, that throw might have had him had Liedtke held on to the ball, but he did not. And so there's the tying run in scoring position as the drama will build just a bit more. And again, Callum Murphy has a conversation with Charles Poe. Is it going to be a bunt? Well, we've seen lots of bunting. I already talked about that before. Murphy, if he's going to bunt here, he would be doing so to, for sure, move the runner to third. But let's see what happens. He squares, and the pitch is high and outside. Now, Goering, last inning, was able to come in and cut off that bunt from Zambrano. He came so close. Goering that time was not as close. But Steinlein very quick from second. Let's see what happens here. Goering is inching in, and Murphy swings and misses. On 2-0, they gave him the green light. He swings through that one. Yeah, Toby, that throw was great, but it was dropped by Liedtke at second base. I think with Liedtke holding on, they would have had him. And now this time the bunt is dropped down. Back to the pitcher, booted, and he can't find the handle. Everybody's safe. Another error for the Heideköpfe. That's going to be the 5th, I believe. That's going to be an E1. First, it hit the heel of his glove and popped out. And then, as he tried to pick it up, he couldn't find the handle a second time. And he would have had a play at third as Steinlein hesitated for a moment. But now the Disciples have the tying run at third and the winning run at first. Patrick Music, who is 3 for 3 with 2 singles and a double, has scored 2 runs. As, cue Star Wars theme song. But what a ball game. No matter what happens, this has been a nail-biter. This caps whatever happened yesterday, and yesterday was exciting. First and third, nobody out. Infield back looking for a double play. There's a squibber off to the right. It's under the glove of Goering. This game is tied. The ball gets into the outfield. On the third base is Murphy with the winning run. And Patrick Music 4 for 4 with a little ground ball that somehow eluded both Goering and Montgomery. This game is tied. It's a base hit. What is going on here? A little squibber off the end of the bat. Goering dove, it went under his glove, and Montgomery couldn't field it. And so the base is occupied on first and third, and now the infield has to come in. The outfield has to come in, for that matter. The winning run is Callum Murphy. He's at third base. Patrick Music is on first with the RBI single that tied the game. He's 4 for 4. And Fildrik Llewellyn is going to bat right-handed for the first time today against Drew Janssen. It comes down to this. Murphy the winning run at third. The pitch is fouled away, and Llewellyn was right on that curveball. Of course, Music is going to take second base. If he does, that'll be defensive indifference. Runners at first and third, but the only one that matters is Murphy at third. Music is going to take second base uncontested. He does so before the stretch is even completed. And the pitch, line drive center field, base hit. Here comes Murphy. Fildrik Llewellyn wins the game with a walk-off single in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the Disciples have taken 2 out of 3 this weekend. They win 5-4. And look at the mob scene in shallow center field. One of the wackiest, most unbelievable and dramatic ball games we've seen here in quite a while. And the Disciples emerge victorious 5-4 on the RBI base hit off the bat of Fildrick Llewellyn, batting right-handed for the first time in the game. He had been 0 for 3 left-handed. He got a breaking ball, just lined it off the end of the bat. And Patrick Music, who I guess is going to be returning home after this game, had a fantastic season, and what a way to go out. And the Disciples win. They have earned a standing ovation from the home fans here in Haar. And boy, what a weekend of baseball. 3 one-run games. And the Bundesliga is burning hot here in the summer of 2024. My name's Tim Collins. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you on the go-round. Final score. The Haar Disciples, 5 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. The Heidenheim Heideköpfe, 4 runs, 10 hits, and 5 errors. The tough luck loser who pitched and had an excellent game, Drew Jensen. Winning pitcher is going to be Jan Endriat, who came in and pitched a scoreless top of the 7th. This ball game started 2 minutes after 1 and ends at about 14 minutes after 3. What a game. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll see you next time. Haar Disciples Baseball brought to you, say it with me all together now, by the Brauerei Wildbräu.